Hey guys, this is day two of building a football team. And so far, it's going pretty well, I'd say. Today, I had a meeting with the stadium that we're potentially going to be using, and it's pretty fire. It is about 5,000 seats in the stadium. We can have our own concession stand, which I'm thinking of doing either all you can eat ice cream and hot dog or hamburgers. Still thinking. Or pizza, you know. But really like having really good food at a ball game I think is something that I've haven't had before. So like how do we bring food into the whole experience? Maybe collab with a chef, that'll be really fun. Imagine having Gordon Ramsay sell some of his food at a football game. Not that it's gonna happen, but you know, thinking about the food experience. So that's something we did, which was really awesome. Hopefully they get back to me. The next steps with that is they'll get back to me the next couple of days, see if there's anything that clashes with their current schedule. And hopefully, if not, we can go through with the agreement. And it's pretty pricey to rent out a stadium for that much seats. But the next goal is to really fill up those seats. So I talked to a restaurant group and they are interested in partnering with us. Next steps are they're going to go take it up to their directors and people who are above them. And the goal was to say, hey, we're going to make this a home restaurant for our fans. And we would have like a launch party. We would do something along the lines of an agreement with them, which is like really cool as well. That's something else that we're doing with the launch party, and kids can come out and they can shoot on their patio, goals and stuff like that. Do a competition, and what I'm really excited about though is the fact that potentially we can even have like a framed jersey for our team on their wall, and I think that'll be really cool, like the equivalent of a pub in the UK, having a home team with signed jerseys on there. So I'm starting to realize and wrap my head around the things that you have to do in order to run a football team because it's a lot, right? One, I need to go and figure out scheduling for tryouts. And tryouts should happen soon. I think it should happen in the next 2 weeks, personally. Looking at that, looking at people trying out, figuring out fees, finalizing fees for the players, and thinking about the players. But really, like brainstorming how do you get people to care about a team, right? So that's the idea I'm wrapping my head around. And does it even work to do the Savannah Bananas of soccer? And how do we build that into something that doesn't exactly copy the Savannah Bananas but brings elements to it, right? A couple ideas that popped up into my mind was like, imagine you had a 4 hour experience. Of course, like 90 minutes of that, so, excuse me, so about 2 hours of that would be the soccer. But outside of the 2 hours, maybe, you have the warm ups for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, but even during the warm ups, you can have games on the pitch. But when you come in, like, what is the feeling you want to feel? You want to feel excitement and fun. And immediately we can have these things called fan games going or flamingo games because, we're the Wheaton Wanderers. And what that entails is fans would come down to the pitch and they would just play. And we would have these really cool competitions where they would have to do a two touch challenge or it's a PK and there's going to be crowds and like people doing shootouts, and I think that'll be really fun to do. And on top of that, it'd be having the fans involved. And how do we do that? Where like I think the community can be a part of it, just having like a fan council or community council, right? Thinking about how do we push forward and shape this local football club that we want to make happen. Starting to run out of ideas of videos too, because there's really no games that we'd be doing till September. Can potentially do like a friendly game, but right now, like figuring out okay, like how do we even get more people to be on board of this idea? and you never know till like the launch happens. But understanding like what if the launch doesn't work out the way we want to? What if there's not, there's so many unknowns. But what I've heard recently a lot about is like focusing on a single idea. And this is like, I'm going all in on this idea, right? So figuring that out, how do I do that? I think is the biggest thing. But secondly, also is how do I use my time, right? I don't want it to feel like busy work. I want to understand, okay, what is the one thing that I can be doing that moves the needle the most, whether it be getting ticket sales or fans coming on board and building this experience that people care about, I think is paramount to making things successful. Because I was listening to a podcast by Acquired, and it was really good, and you should listen to it too if you have the chance. Walt Disney. I haven't finished it yet, but he was the pioneer of a lot of things. One of which was being the first ever person to put sound in sync with film, and among other things, right? But seeing that for me, it's like, okay, how do I take that similar concept, understand where AI is going right now? You see a lot of big AI startups happening. And at the end of the day, when you think about like big AI startups happening, we live in a world where it is more disconnected than ever. So bringing people together is the thing that I think is going to be the future, right? So how do you put together people under a certain hobby or a certain following or a certain passion like football, soccer, and then do that, right? And you can talk about that experience in of itself and then saying, hey, like how do we turn a game that is very much on the side of like, hey, we still want to watch good soccer, but not cannibalize the market and like get it to the point where people also want to have fun on the other end, right? Like those two things I don't think have to clash in my perspective. I feel like it really doesn't. It can be like one thing in and of itself and the other, and then you just figure out how to like coexist but provide maybe the best of both worlds. And it's like the target audience we're trying to get at is people who feel bored on a Saturday, who wants to do something fun and not the same thing over and over again. Because how many times can you go to Chicago, right? That's what I'm thinking. You think about like what makes the fan experience truly fun is something where I sit and I think about it and I'm just like, okay, how do you make the fan experience like truly amazing? And how do you build like a brand identity that people care about? Because obviously it's one thing to have this in the vision, right? The vision is people who care about a local team coming together, supporting their team, and ideally, like we would fill out the stadium of 4,000, 5,000 people, but at the end of the day, it doesn't always work out that way. Maybe only 100 people show up or 200 people show up. But even like attracting maybe talent, like what if I got an ex soccer player who was pretty good back in his day and just told him, hey, you should come play for our team? That'll be really, really fun too. So figuring that out as well. But yeah, all that to say is I'm excited for tryouts because we would like be filming behind the scenes for tryouts and all of that. So yeah, that's pretty much it for day two. What else do I have in mind? I don't know how to really like maximize what I do right per day because I can always just send out more emails, but how do I get things moving, get the needle flowing? Excited to see where this goes, obviously, but I think I want to get more college kids involved. I think that'll be really, really cool. And yeah, it's a definitely a task. Definitely something that I'm really thinking about doing. And how do I do it well? But at the moment, it's been pretty fun, and the website's done, everything is done, so check it out below. But it is it is an exciting time because pioneering something that hasn't been done before is almost like a lot of people say, hey, like you're first to market, but at the end of the day, it could also flop. And like that's the thing, right? But when you look at the Savannah Bananas, they nearly failed, and people said it wouldn't work, but he did it, and it did, and he made it so good that people comes back now to watch it, and you rent out an entire stadium and fill it up. So yeah, I'm excited, not to say the least, nervous, excited, scared, all of the above. So yeah, follow me along for day two of my journey, and thank you to the 13 people who watched in day one. If you can like, comment, subscribe below. I never thought I'd say that, but I really need to do that now. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and follow the journey, guys. Really excited to keep going with this whole creating a new soccer team thing because I think it could be really beautiful. And one day, hopefully, have a professional football team, have the academy, and find the next Messi is the goal. Part of it. There's a lot of other goals, but yeah. Thank you so much.